Randy Bailey makes a living making sure vehicles stop on a dime. His family has owned Bailey's brake service in Mesa more than 30 years. These days, Bailey is trying to put brakes on what he calls the good old boy deals. He says an effort is being made to rob him of his property using a traditional power of government, eminent domain.
Eminent domain has its purposes, you know. True, legitimate public use projects have got to be carried out, you know. I mean, even if this was going to be a city park or a library, you know, things that are public use, you got to have tools to be able to do things like that. But you got to be able to stop the good old boy deals of transferring property to private people. The Constitution says you cannot take private property and transfer it to a private person, you know, and that's black and white to me, you know. And what they're doing is not black and white. It's definitely shady.
If you would, please state your full name.
Gregory J. Merrick,
And your occupation.
Redevelopment Director for the City of Mesa.
Will the city have any ownership stake in the project on Site 24?
No.
Will the city receive any rental income?
No.
Will all of the profits accrue to the private owners of this development?
By profits, you mean?
Any profits generated by the hardware store, the discount store,
operation
the
of their businesses, you
That's
mean?
correct.
Yeah, no, we would not get any of those profits.
Just about everyone knows that under a process called eminent domain, the government can and does seize private property for public use, to build a road or a courthouse. But did you know the government can also seize your land for private use if they can prove that doing it will serve what is called the public good? Cities across the country have been using eminent domain to force people off their land so that private developers can build more expensive homes and offices, which will pay more in property taxes than the buildings they are replacing. Under eminent domain, the government buys your property, paying you what is determined to be fair market value. But now, people who don't want to sell their homes at any price just to see their land go to another private owner are fighting back.
This is a nationwide epidemic. We have documented more than 10,000 instances of government taking property from one person to give it to another in just the last 5 years.
Dana Berliner and Scott Bullock are attorneys at a libertarian nonprofit group called the Institute for Justice.
It is fundamentally wrong and contrary to the Constitution for the government to take property from one private owner and hand it over to another private owner just because the government thinks that person is going to make more productive use of the land.
Everyone knows that property can be taken for a road, but nobody thinks that property can be taken to give it to their neighbor or the large business down the street for their economic benefit. People are shocked when they hear that this is going on around the country.
And it's not just people's homes that are the targets in these eminent domain cases. The Institute for Justice has also filed suit against the city of Mesa, Arizona, to save Randy Bailey's brake repair shop. The shop he got from his father and hopes someday to pass on to his son. The city of Mesa, citing the need for redevelopment, is trying to force Bailey to relocate to make way for an Ace hardware store that would look better and pay more taxes.
Redevelopment to me is, work with the existing people there and redevelop.
Right.
Not, you get out, we're bringing this guy in.
Bailey's brake service has been on this corner for more than 30 years.
In Mesa, this is the corner, Main Street and Country Club. There's not a better corner in this city.
And business has been pretty good down the years?
Business has been awesome.
Now, what used to be in all of this property, I mean, everything else has disappeared.
The city come in and got immediate possession and started demolishing it, making it dirt.
The city has made dirt out of 3 restaurants and 4 businesses that once stood on this 5-acre lot.
And it's not just business properties that they're doing this on. They wiped out 8 people's homes over here. Your home ain't even safe.
Bailey told us his neighbors let the city buy them out, but he's refusing to sell.
I'm standing in their way. I'm their thorn in their side.
A thorn in the side of Ken Lenhart, who owns the Ace hardware store a few blocks away. Lenhart wants a much bigger store. He could have negotiated with Bailey, but instead, he convinced the city of Mesa to try to buy Bailey's land through eminent domain and then sell it to him.
You can't replace a business in the same location. This place was built in 1952 as a break and front end shop. I don't care where you move into City of Mesa, it would never be the same.
So Bailey went to Lenhart looking for a way to stay on his corner.
I tried to go to him and see if we couldn't work something out on this. And he told me, no, there ain't room for you there. We're going to let the city just take care of you.
Did you ever sit down and try to negotiate with him?
No, I never did.
Redevelopment seems to me to make obvious good sense. But the right of eminent domain to take one man's private property, Randy Bailey, to give it, in effect, to Ken Lenhart for his private property.
It happens all over the country.
If I'd had a for sale sign out there, it'd been a whole different deal. And for them to come in and tell me how much my property is worth, and for me to get out because they're bringing in somebody else when I own the land is unfounded to me. It don't even sound like the United States.
For 2 years now, he desperately fought the Mesa City Council, and he took on the mayor to save his family's business.
Tonight, Randy Bailey, owner of Bailey's Brake Shop, learns you really can beat City Hall.
I have been exuberated, man. I'm happy, yes.
Bailey's Brake Shop is located at the corner of Main Street and Country Club Drive, a prime piece of real estate in the heart of Mesa.
Today, Bailey's Brakes got a very important decision, and it looks like they'll be here for another 34 years.
Today, our decision come down from the Court of Appeals, and we won. We beat the City Hall and the eminent domain against us.
Randy Bailey has a lot to celebrate tonight after he learned the brakes haven't been put on his family business on the corner of Country Club and Main in Mesa.
You know, right always will win over wrong.
Today, the Arizona Court of Appeals ruled that Randy Bailey can stay right where he is after an attempt to take his property by eminent domain for the benefit of a private developer.
This is the way America works. You know, the first thing is, though, I shouldn't have had to fight to keep my property to begin with, you know, and this is going to help in the courts to make it so that people don't have to go through this, and my children won't have to go through this when they own their properties.
Well, Katie, 3 long years for Randy Bailey in his shop right here. Look at this on his window as you go through the door. Customers see his long saga as he fought the city to keep what he says belonged to him.
I was trying to call you all over, man, and I didn't know how to get a hold of you, and your cell phone wasn't on, and I want to let you know, man, we won, man.
Randy Bailey tells his wife the good news. The family-owned business, Bailey Brake Shop, will stay right where it is, on the corner of Main and Country Club Drive.
I've been lifted, you know, that way. I mean, the Institute of Justice and us have done a battle here, and we've won. You know, it's awesome, man. It's awesome. Private property is supposed to be sacred, and we fought for that right here.
Now, Mark, just quickly, how much did he have to spend out of pocket to fight his fight?
John, he has not had to spend one dime of his own money. That's because that group that we told you about, the Institute for Justice, paid for all of it. They took the case pro bono. This is something they do around the country when eminent domain laws come into question. They're just for that purpose. And so Randy is extremely grateful for the help of that group. He says no way would he been able to fight this on his own.
We got a ruling in our favor. We won.
And today, as Bailey made the rounds to spread his good news, we asked him what he plans on doing now that the verdict is in.
I've been putting on hold, actually going to Disneyland with my family. Now that I've won, I'm taking my family. We're going to Disneyland.